Aries, welcome to your Astroflower reading going from the 23rd to the 29th of January. We're going to be going into your chakras, your aura, and we're going to be doing a tarot reading at the end of it. How you doing? Have you seen the mid-month readings as well that came out, the collective and your individual sort of signs? Let's just see what's going on. Just getting there, seeing what's going on with the different chakras. Okay, so that all sort of in place. There's a lot been going on, and you're in your autumn period here. So there's a lot of positioning, and I've got to say, all the signs have had this really. It seems to be a week where this week that going from the 23rd to 29th is a week where it's positioning. Everyone seems to be putting themselves into position. And I think this ties into that transition that's going to happen, that's happening in the beginning of March. And I was calling it the February anomaly, I think, in your yearly reading as well. And so we got the monthly readings coming out this week as well. And that's going to be... that's going to be interesting, I think. I think February is going to be a very interesting sort of month. Let's just get straight into your root chakras here. Okay, so there's a little bit more sort of freedom on the right-hand side than there is on the left-hand side. It's almost as if it's tightening up. I think the left-hand side here is really tightened up. It's almost as if like you can see how this coming year is going to roll out, or you have a very good plan or decision or route that you have defined. So you can, so from your birthday, that's when it's going to really kick off. But it's really concrete within you. And it's now sort of like you've created the structure and you're doing the decoration on it. That's what it appears like. It's tightening as well within the, on the right-hand side. That's more sort of emotionally driven, sort of root chakra sort of stuff, sort of foundations of yourself. And I think that's coming into focus a lot more. And I think that's probably going to come into focus for a lot of you, start really coming into focus this week. And it'll be on the cards, I would have thought, for on the cards for the next 2-3 weeks more than anything else. But it's definitely coming into sort of helping you to focus things and focalize things. Let's just see what's going on in your sacrum. So everyone has this at the moment, or the majority of people have this. There's some people that don't, but some signs that haven't been, but the majority of signs that have is where you've got the left-hand side of the sacrum, which is a lot more prominent than the right-hand side. And this is all about your desires, about how you want things to work, administration, money, sort of structure, activities, how you do those activities, get involved in those activities. This seems to be the overall thing with everybody, and this is what I talk about, sort of planning, positioning, and that sort of thing. So one thing to look out for here, and it's a repeated message that I seem to be repeating to everybody, is that work-play ethic as well. And because it's a lot of preparation work more than anything else, and it's not something very heavy and fundamental, I think this can be resolved very easily with just by sort of singing in the shower or singing in the kitchen, or just doing things that are within your normal day that lightens the mode. Basically, it's going to stimulate the wants to do things, and then I would go ahead and occasionally, at the weekend or during the week, go to the beach. If you want to go to the beach or whatever. Just sort of doing much more constructive activities that is guided towards your sort of pleasures and enjoyment. So it gives you a sort of safety valve or a pressure release sort of attitude to your happiness as well, because you come back to life and there's still going to be loads of things going on. So and I think that's generally around us at the moment. Let's see what's going on in your solar plexus. So this is really wide. It's very welcoming. I think this has a lot to do with sort of, social, touching base with people, keeping contacts, developing, or just sort of, just being there really, and, being available for a hug, or, that sort of thing. It's sort of like, seeing, a brother or sister, or your auntie or your uncle, and just sort of kind of, I haven't seen you sometimes, come here, give us a hug. Sort of scenario. I think I said that within your monthly readings, actually, thinking about that. But anyway, it seems to be still with that way, like a beautiful fireplace that's really nice and warm. It's got some lovely embers and stuff like that. It's really sort of sociable, really. There doesn't seem to be any complications on the petals around it either, so therefore there's no complications on your passion and your desire and your ability to do things, as it were. But it's a bit of a slower pace. Life may be running really, really quickly around you, but you've got this sort of slower pace about it. It's a bit like the tortoise and the hare sort of race. At the end of the day, they both arrive at the same time. The tortoise can go on slowly but consistently for a very long time, where the hare is going to stop and have a nap, and they'll have to go quicker in between the naps. And in the meantime, the tortoise sort of catches up, goes in front, and then it's eventually everybody gets there at the same time. And I think you've taken on this attitude to the tortoise is just kind of going, just keep it cool, relax, no worries. But you may have that sensation that things are a little bit slower for you at the moment. Let's have a look at your heart. Yeah, there's a lot of, I think, healthy emotionals within your heart. It's nicely full. Is the best way. I wouldn't say it's swollen. I'd definitely say it's full, and it's there's contentment within there. That's what you're looking for. It's contentment with the world outside you. You're taking a little bit of pressure off the world around you, so you may be reducing your expectations. And if you're not, I would. So you don't get disappointed in the world, because your expectations might be a little bit too high for others to reach. It might be possible for you to reach, but don't ask people to do what you can do. You are unique in the situation. And so here I think it's a case of, if you're not being very easy and relaxed with the outside world, with no pressure on things, I would certainly put that within your spell book. And so you can manifest that sort of calm and loving environment that is within your heart, in this surrounding environment around you. Let's just have a look at the third eye and the throat chakra. Yeah, there's a lot of thinking going on. Let's just go into that third eye. Let's see what the thinking's about. There's a lot of calculations. So basically, calculations. If I do this is how it's going to happen. Then if this happens, then I can do that. The only thing I'm worried about there, or what seems to be a bit of a sort of blocking point on it, and because this is the point of these readings, it's trying to help people sort of get the best out of their situation. And sometimes it's, understanding, it's like being like your co-pilot. I'm trying to help you out, sort of saying, okay, we've got a really steep bend, steep bend coming up, slow down. So, and then you can adjust yourselves if need be, in order to put yourself in a better position in life. And so there's a lot of calculations going on, which is calculations about how you put into place positioning. We're going back to that idea of positioning at the moment. It seems to be a repeated thing that comes up for every single sign. There is a moment of positioning, and I think this ties into what's going on in February and on into March, which obviously I will be having readings of that coming out next next week, in this coming week. So it seems to be that. I would just be a little bit careful that there's not enough communication, that you don't withdraw too much from the world that is around you. Okay? Let's just see what's going on in your crown chakra. It's a lovely vase shape. It's very Egyptian, but I would say a wide Egyptian, because Egyptian crowns can often be quite straight and then they got this curl at the top. But this does go out. It goes out like a vase sort of thing, and then has a curl at the top. So it seems like consciously you're open to growth within you, and growth within you means a change in your surrounding environment, with the people that you're with your work situation, with the energy, with everything like that. It will affect the world that is around you. In a good way, I think, in a very, very good way. This is that moment when the golden fleece, the ram that was saving the two children, which is the origins of Aries. It's that honourable section of leading by example, I think, that you are enjoying, or you will enjoy. And at the moment, it's almost sort of saying, and it doesn't have to be complicated. It could be really good fun. You know, even in difficult times in life, it can be fun. I don't think you're having a lot of difficulty within your life rhythm at the moment. Simply, it's a reflection upon self. So you're looking within you at the moment. So, obviously, the more we look within, the less we interact with the outside world, the less complications we have. But obviously, that's not a very good idea to do eternally, because eventually you just pull yourself out of the loop of the world around you. And I don't think you're going to enjoy that at all. I think you really will enjoy that whole idea of groups of people or family and stuff like that. Let's just see what's going on your aura. No one's knocking you over. It's really solid down here. This reiterates your root chakra. The energy down here is really strong, consistent, got a lot of weight, a lot of power in it. It's a lot of potential. And I think this is what this preparation is all about, is building up your potential for your coming year. And your coming year is from your birthday. So it filters through you gradually. For those of you who are born at the beginning of Aries season, this is the preparation. This is the kind of thing that's going to spring you forward. If you're born at the end of Aries season, you may feel this in a very light sense. It's almost like the train that sort of starts slowing down way before it gets into the station. This here, some of it is that you're at the station and ready to move on. That's what it feels like. There is a lot going on up the top. It's very light, actually. It's really nice, very bubbly. You could find yourself having, almost sort of mystical callings in a way. It's an opening of the consciousness in a sense of looking at the brighter things that are around us and how fantastic it can be. There's a lot of inspiration that's coming through there. So I would trust your intuition and allow that to be a real good guide within your life at the moment. Okay, let's just go on and see what's going on your tarot readings. Let's just connect there. Okay, lovely, excellent. Let's just see what's going on in your overall energies that are coming through at the moment. It's a long, long road with many So it's a long road. You're working on the long-term plan. And I think this is not just a a yearly plan. This is a long-term plan. It's a really solid base and foundation going forward. Sorry, I didn't turn that over. The Hermit. It is about you. It's going inside you, as I said earlier on, and learning that inner message that is within you. And that's a spiritual calling as well. They're levitating above the world that is around them. And that plays into that light part of your aura that's up there, that's very sort of effervescent and sort of like bubbly, with lots of intuition and sort of insight into life. And this plays out beautifully. It's the expression of your journey of how you've got there. And that's what the intuition or the looking inside is all about this week. And it's preparing you to that potential of how you're going to impose that on the world around you. Not impose is not the right word at all. It's how you're going to integrate it. That's more of a word. Yeah. Integrate it with the world that is around you. Let's just see what's going on. This is on your relationship side. So this is on your karmic message here. It's very warm. It's like putting. It's not a case of talking the talk. It's a case of walking the walk, and it is a relaxed walk that it's proposing here, and it's very loving, very caring in a way. It's a new cycle for you. It's the starting of a new cycle. I don't think there's a karmic message this week at all in a way. I think it's more of a case of, let's see how it works. Let's try it out a little bit. It's like that first go on the bicycle, before you've learned how to ride the bicycle. It's, let's try it out and see how it goes. And it's putting things into action, I think. Let's just see how the universe is... you may not get it first time. And so this is where the anticipation or the expectations that you put out there of how life should be, I think you've got to be a little bit wary of that. And the universe is sort of saying, we've got lots to give you, but if your expectations is high on every single one, you're not going to be able to do everything. And I think that. There's no, that. I don't have to really tell you that. But this is where they're, I think they're sort of like concentrating on one thing at a time in regards to your relationships. And this could be with family, community, friends, or even your partner. And it could be just focusing on one part of your entourage at one point, and then another part at another moment. But don't try and do too much. Don't try and do too much. Just be that welcoming, warm fire that we mentioned earlier on. Let's just see how your guides are influencing this karmic message. They're just sort of saying, lead with your heart and the fruits will come. The fruits will ripen. Lead with your heart and the fruits will ripen. The lion heart. So it's leading with that whole idea of quelling those inner voices that sometimes can push us into scenarios that we don't really want to be in. And I think you've got to stick true to this. And this is all about the Two of Pentacles as well, where you've got to focus on where you put your time, how you put your energy into things. It will reveal, and that's what also the other thing about the Two of Pentacles is about, reveal things in your life that will encourage you to sort of realize things and learn things, and therefore you can express your learning. And I think this Hermit at the moment is not out there expressing. I think it's still accumulating and seeing how things work. And this quelling of that inner voice that says, oh no, you're not good enough, or no, it's not going fast enough, is, you need to beat those self-sabotaging sort of things. And to do that is probably to be the most relaxed and easygoing about the scenario. And that's where your guides are trying to help you here. It's a take or leave it. It's a, you know, it doesn't worry, it doesn't matter. It'll come back round again, a little bit like a boomerang and stuff like that. Your guides are not frantic about life. They're really trying to reiterate that sort of calm presence that you can have within the relationships that are around you. Let's just see what the conversation is here. Yeah, that's fine. That's okay. Yeah, no worries. It's moving on. It's not getting bogged down, basically. It's like that crown chakra. What should grow within your consciousness? Well, what will grow is what will grow, in a way, if you know what I mean. And I think that's where they're sort of, it's walking away from complications that you've had. Old ways of being, and this comes into your autumn period. The best way to describe an autumn period is like a leaf that falls from a tree, and that's a memory of the last year. And as it falls to the ground, the tree can see that sort of leaf falling, and it can extract all the memories of that will help them to move forward. And as it gets to the ground, it hits the ground and ends up, turning into earth and nourishing the dreams of tomorrow. And I think that's what within you is kind of like, oh, it don't matter, I'll walk away. It doesn't, I'm going to walk towards happiness. I think that's what it's all about. And it takes courage and strength, I think, to walk in that sort of direction. And in order to do that, you will eventually have to tighten up that solar plexus. And it will tighten up at the right time. And I think from that March period, I think you'll get a lot tighter aspect on your solar plexus. Let's just see what's going on the karmic mission on your financial sort of side. This calm is also playing out in your financial sort of side as well. You may have complications. You may be under pressure within your job, within your businesses, or whatever you're doing. But you're going to be. You seem to have control over the situation. You seem to have seem to have a grip of what's going on, basically. Yeah, you understand. I think this is where you understand. Is that there's certain things that's not worth arguing over. Yeah, you may not agree with it, and you just kind of go, yeah, well, look, I've got big, we haven't got time to argue over this. We need to get on, sort of scenario. I think there's aspect to that to keep a certain rhythmical fashion within your life, and I wouldn't get bogged down in little complications. I think looking at the bigger picture, I think that's what the karmic message is about. Is looking at the bigger picture is good for you at the moment. Let's just see how the universe, the divine plan, is trying to influence this karmic message. There is complications that need to be adjusted for. It's like going down the river, and as you're going down the river's carrying you forward, and you're getting a bit into the rapid sort of scenario, and then you start noticing that there is rocks and how the water goes. It's guiding you. The universe here is trying to help you, to guide you between those rocks, and the water will automatically take you in a way round the rocks, but you do need to be applied within that life. So I think this whole idea of walking away from little complications ties into that. It's getting round those rocks, and the universe is trying to help you with that. You've got two cards here that want to come out, I think. There is two cards there. It's being very shy, the other one. It's the King of Cups who was being very shy, but it's the Page of Pentacles, which is the main one that was coming out there. And I think this is where getting on and doing things and avoiding complications is the page. That is the learning process of the page at the moment. It's planting, it's going through from seed to fruit. It's a whole season and learning that whole process, and the opportunity that you have in order to explore that is the gift that he is receiving. And it is gift of knowledge, of understanding that can be applied in your life. So walking away from certain things will serve you in a way to guide you around the complications of your business side of life, and lead you onto a much more sort of bountiful future, really. The King of Cups underneath it is that sort of having that calm and not being triggered by it. Just calm, plain sailing going ahead for you, basically. Let's just see what's going on the how the guides are trying to influence this karmic message. When you're looking, when you're doing a puzzle, you're looking for a bit of the puzzle that the section you're working on, and it's like that. It's like your guides are really sort of trying to connect to one or two different things within your life that is serving you, that is working well within your business or your job or etc. And anything else that's not connected with it, they're not really looking for it. So they're almost trying to help things to streamline, so it's easier for you to just get on and move on and etc. with the world that is around you. So the Three of Wands, it's that harbour master. It's the idea of things that are coming in from the outside world and also things that is being sent out, and you have the control of how those things, those ships, come in and out of your life. And here the guys are sort of trying to sort of say, okay, these ships here, because we need X to go with Y, in that case we're going to let this ship through because that's got X on it, if you know what I mean. So your guides are really, I would be very attentive, and this comes into your intuition that we were talking about earlier on. Your intuition, where your guides will do that. It will communicate through coincidences, through situations, through parts of life that connected to your business and your job, and it will. Excuse me a second. You know, it's trusting in that process, I think. Trusting in that process. That's the divine, that's the joining energy, as it were. Trusting in that process of those coincidences and following them. Obviously, don't put your house on one coincidence. It's not a gamble here. It's a try and see, basically. That's what it seems like. Let's just see what how the guys are trying to influence the conversation. They're trying to also reduce those expectations, and they keep repeating, you know, to you. Oh, we'll try that and see. Let's try it and see, you know, and make a judgment on it in due course. Yeah, there is a certain communication, you know, a certain degree of accumulation that is going on with that attitude. I think it's because you're walking away from certain aspects in life and walking towards a much better scenario, which is, for you, is going to be a much more fulfilling and much more solid as a road of life to live. That's much more rewarding. That's the word I'm looking for. A much more sort of rewarding life. So at the moment, I think you're trying things out. At some point, obviously, that has to be sort of streamlined. But trying things out is going to understand that journey that you've been through to get to where you are. So then you can help others, and you can explain or express that understanding through your actions and through your, you know, your emotional side of life. Let's just see what the overall outcome is for you. what's going on for leading from the 29th into February. Because you're going to put things into place, or you should be putting a little, trying out things. It's almost as if there's a pace gets picked up, not only within yourself, but also in the world around you. It's as if, the pace is the tide has turned, basically. You'll get that sensation of the turning tide. Yeah, it's going to... I think this is where, if you've tried things out and you're going to try and see how they are, if you've been very relaxed in your trusting your intuition, you're going to get things wrong, obviously, like everybody does, or things might go slightly awry, as it were, because all the best plans are fraught with dangers. But I think this is where your relaxed side's going to come into it, and it's going to, okay, I learned a lot. Okay, so we didn't get the best out of that situation, but that's fine. We now know that doesn't work. So let's try something else. Sort of scenario, and that's going to give you that rite of passage to get to where you should be going, of a life fulfilled with rewards. And as I say, I think that's really going to trigger at the end of February. In the beginning of March. So it'd be interesting to sort of see how your monthly reading sort of plays out, which will be coming out this week. There you go, Aries. Thank you very much for being with us. In the meantime, don't forget, life should be fun, so please do enjoy.